Alright everyone, it is Monday or Wednesday. It's Wednesday, not Monday. And this is the video a lot of people have been asking for. Or maybe not a lot, but a few people. They want to know how I wound up in Cambodia. What my story was before I came here. And all that good stuff. So I figure now's as good a time as any while I'm sitting here waiting for something. So after I got out of the military, I spent 4 years in the military, and I was kind of a lost, wandering soul. I come from the state of Michigan, on the western side, over by Muskegon, Grand Haven, if you wanted to look that up on a map. And there are not a lot of opportunities there as far as careers. There's jobs, a lot of retail work, minimum wage. And if you want to go above that, you have to work in a factory, a shop, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I spent the majority of my time after the military doing. Now, not all the time. I did have 2 other jobs that you might be a little surprised to hear, but I am waiting to tell you those in my special after I hit 1,000 subscribers. So be sure to tell your friends and family to subscribe. But anyway, the factory jobs over there are not union. It's a work at will kind of thing. Hi, puppy. Look at this cute little puppy. Look at this cute little puppy. Look at this cute little puppy. Yeah. Your cute little puppy. Anyway, it's a work at will, and that basically means you may quit anytime you want. You don't have to give a 2 weeks notice for whatever reason, or no reason even. But on the other hand, they have the right to fire you at any time for any reason, or even no reason. So it's very precarious, because you could walk in one day and they could just shut the doors. There's no union, nobody to protect the worker. You're basically at the whims of the people in charge. But it is the jobs that pay the most, even though it's not that much more. The last job I had for almost 10 years, the job I did as a welder was maxed out at $13.50 an hour. Yeah, that's it. But it was still considered a higher paying job than like a job at a retail store, or of course you get minimum wage, maybe a little more after a couple of years, things like that. Now the thing is, here's the thing, my job wasn't hard. I wrote a whole book about how I felt about that company and the job in general. It's called Factory Rat, Get a Real Job. I'll be putting that up on Gumroad if you guys want to buy it. It's rated R. Definitely not for kids. I try to keep a sense of humor. I got a lot of jokes, lowbrow, lowest common denominator type humor in it. I probably offend a lot of people. I talk more than just about the job. I mention my feelings on different things, which are not always popular. But the job itself was easy, I guess you could say. It was easy. It wasn't difficult. Once you learned what to do, But that was a problem, is that there was no creativity to it. Once you learned how to do your job, that's what you did every day for at least 8 hours a day, plus any mandatory overtime they threw in. And that's all you did. The same motions, the same things, no thinking required. Put the part in, hit a button, take the part out, look at it, do your paperwork. Now some people, that might be right up their alley. If you want a job you don't really have to think much about once you learn how to do it, that would be the job. But it drove me absolutely crazy, especially all the stupid rules they had. Some of the things they came up with were bizarre. For instance, we weren't allowed in the middle of winter, when it's very cold. Let me get past all this welding going on here. Good Lord. In the middle of winter, of course, we would all wear our big, heavy winter jackets. And for some odd reason, we were not allowed to have them on the work floor. We had to keep them in the break room. Now the problem was, we only got 2 20-minute breaks for the whole 8 hours. That was it. So, if you were a person like myself, and a lot of other people that wanted to take that time to go outside and have a cigarette, you would have to walk from your machine all the way to the break room, get your jacket, then walk all the way back to where you came, past your machine, to go out to the opposite end of the building where the break area was for people that smoked. And then, of course, you would have to come back in early enough from break to go all the way past where you should start working again, your machine, to put your jacket back, and then walk back to your machine. So it took away almost half of your break time. And like I said, you only had 20 minutes. And if you wanted to eat, you better eat fast. And grab one of the only three or four microwaves they had in that break room. The other rule was they didn't have any fans. So in the middle of summer, when it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside, we have to wear blue jeans, a shirt with sleeves. We had to wear protective sleeves. We had to wear gloves. We had to wear safety glasses. We had to wear steel-toed shoes or boots. And we had to wear earplugs. So it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside. We got a lot of hot machinery running on the inside. So it was probably constantly 110 degrees inside Fahrenheit. And we had to wear all this protective gear, like a suit of armor almost. And they were too cheap to buy us fans. Not even a fan. No air conditioning, of course, except in the offices where the people that didn't have to be out on the floor hung out. But not even a fan to help keep us cool. Every year people would get some form of heat exhaustion. People would pass out sometimes. And as much as they claimed to be concerned about our safety, that didn't seem to concern them at all, because they didn't want to spend the money to put fans up. So that's the kind of place I worked at. They made a show of caring for the employees, but they didn't really care. And like I said, the main thing was it was the same job over and over and over. Same thing, same part, same job, every single day. And it was starting to drive me a little crazy. Man, it is loud out here today. garbage trucks, loud motorbikes, welding places. Jeez. But anyway, it started to drive me a little crazy because after you get done working in a situation like that, you're mentally exhausted, you're physically exhausted. And all I wanted to do was go home. I didn't want to hang out with anybody. And here's what I want to say about that. I like the people I worked with. We're all in it together. That kind of forces you to kind of bond because we're all in the same crap hole together, right? We all hated it equally. But there's not that many opportunities, and people know you don't just quit a job because the opportunity for another one might not come up. And even if you did get another one, you're going to go to a different factory, and it's going to be a different kind of job, but in the end it's going to be the same. There's still going to be nothing but repetition. So opportunities from where I came from are not that great. But I always like to write. Oh yeah, I was saying I did like the people I worked with because we were all in it together. We were all friends. The reason I didn't hang out with anybody like outside of work is simply because every time I saw them, they reminded me of work, and I hated my job so much that I did not want to be reminded of it when I wasn't there. My thing was, as soon as I got out of work and I was in my car on the way home, just forget about it. Just forget I even had a job. Until, of course, the next day when I had to go in again. So I would just stay home, wouldn't do anything, play video games, watch TV, play on the computer. And it got to the point where even on the weekends, oops, I lost thing eye. Oh, there she is. Even on the weekends, that's all I would do. I would get out of work. I worked third shift, so I went in at 10 p.m., got out at 6 a.m. So I would get out of work at 6 a.m. on a Friday if I didn't have to work the weekend. And I would go right to our 24-hour supermarket, grocery store type deal. And I would get all the food I needed, and all the beer I needed, anything I needed for the weekend, because once I got home, I was probably not going to leave again. My work really affected most of my life because anything I wanted to do, I didn't have enough time for, never had enough money for. And it was a never-ending cycle. The cycle of suck, as I say. So that's my backstory. How I heard about Helpful was that I always liked to write. I didn't know what it was, but I was thinking of an idea for an article. This humor website was having we're taking submissions for different humorous articles on different things, and I happened to see an article called "The 10 Cheapest Countries to Live in the World." And I thought I could take that article and do something funny with it. For instance, one of those places was somewhere in Canada. And I was like, oh, I could just do like a mock-up of that. Like the 10 cheapest countries to live in the world, which you probably wouldn't want to, and here's why. You know, they had places like Canada, and I would just mention something like, oh, you know, the cold. No. I would just mention how cold it is there all the time. How they speak some sort of French that you wouldn't understand. But then I would mention something like, but hey, at least the strippers are high class. You know? I would just do that kind of thing. And I saw a lot of countries on that list. And two of those countries were Thailand and Taiwan. Two countries I had heard of but didn't know anything about. Nothing. It's like I had vague recollections of hearing them like in news stories and things, but no idea what they were. So I decided to do some research for this article I was writing, find out what I could find and turn it into something funny. And then I never did finish that article, because as I was researching there, I also found out that when I did a search for Thailand, one of the things that came up was teaching English in Thailand with no experience. And I was like, what? Well, let's see what this is about. And of course, it was from a TEFL organization. And they were talking about how if you got your TEFL, you could come live in beautiful Thailand. And they showed pictures of the beaches and the food and the people. And that's what sparked my interest in the first place, because I was like, surely this is some kind of scam. Why would people stay and do a job like mine if this was a thing that anybody could do? So of course I was sure. And by the way, we walked right into a school zone here. I don't know how that happened. But yeah, you're going to see a traffic jam here in the middle of the day. Anyway, I mean, who wouldn't want to go someplace that looked like that? Look how beautiful it is. Look how friendly the people are. Look how warm it is all the time, which was one thing that was really attractive to me, because I've always hated the winters in Michigan. So I started checking out to see if that was real. You know, what is a TEFL? That's the first thing I had to do. They kept saying I could get my TEFL, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I started doing a TEFL search. I started researching that, teaching English as a foreign language. So when I found out it's like an ESL teacher, the only difference is that you're teaching it in a country where English is not the first language. Same. So the thought rattled around in my head for a while. I forgot about the article. I never did finish the article, because I kept thinking, is this going to be one of those stupid things that I'm going to tell everybody about, and then it's not going to happen for some reason or another, and then I'm going to look foolish. So I let that rattle around for a while, but I kept doing more research on those two countries specifically, Thailand and Taiwan. I don't know why those countries appeal to me more than others, but at that time they did. And then I said, well, if I'm going to do this, I think I will go for Thailand. And there was really no reason why I chose that one over Taiwan. It just, it was kind of one of those eeny, meeny, miny, mo situations. Like, yes, I can go there. I can move there. Oh, no, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So I chose Thailand. Now, you probably already know, I've mentioned this before, that at one point, I was talking to a TEFL company in Thailand, and they promised me some things that were not true. Hello. And the reason I know they're not true is because when I finally called the International TEFL Academy, they told me, no, those things are not true. I'd already known, kinda. I had heard different things. People were telling me, no, that's a lie, that's a lie. It's an agency, they're just trying to get you over there. And then if you get in trouble with the law because you're not doing it legally, they're not going to be around to help. And come to find out, that's what it was. It was kind of a scam. Because of course, as I was looking, the first thing I wanted to know is, what is the requirements? What kind of education do I need to do this? And the first thing I saw was, yes, in Thailand, you do need a bachelor's degree to legally teach. I was like, I don't have a bachelor's degree. But then that same article mentioned, well, here are some other countries that a bachelor's degree is not required. That page was sent to me by the International TEFL Academy after I contacted them about the Thailand situation. And Cambodia was on the list. and I saw where it was. I didn't know much about Cambodia neither, so I started doing a bunch of research there. Just kept looking up different things. Of course, the first things I looked at were cost of living. And then I also did a search for, bad things about living in Cambodia. Because I've always been practical. I wanted to know the whole thing. I didn't just ask questions because I was looking and hoping for a certain answer. I actually wanted the truth about what I was getting myself into. Anyway, so I decided that's where I was going to move. So I called the International TEFL Academy back, talked to Amanda, really nice person. She never tried to sell me on their course. She just mentioned what they could provide. She answered all my questions, not only about the TEFL, but about moving abroad and living in Cambodia and everything, because their employees, even though they're based in Chicago, all their employees have had extensive experience teaching abroad in different parts of the world, different countries. So there are people that you will talk to through the ITA that have actually taught in Cambodia. They're not just basing what they know on books or websites. They've experienced these things. They know. But I knew that once I signed up, that was it. That I wasn't going to spend that kind of money if I wasn't serious. And at work, I'd been telling people, kind of hinting, I said, I think I'm going to move to Thailand. That was before I found out about the whole scam thing happening. And the reaction was what I thought. Yeah, right. Ha 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 ha. Why would you want to do that? Blah blah blah. And so I played it off like, of course I'm just joking, Actually, at one point I said, no, I'm serious. I am going to move. I am going to move to Thailand. Well, while talking to Amanda, I decided, well, if I hang up the phone now and I don't do it, there's a good chance I am going to procrastinate, talk myself out of it, and never do it again. So I took the plunge. I gave her my credit card right then and there. And boom, I had my course. Set to start in 3 weeks from when I signed up. Online. And that was it. Then I started getting my emails from them. They give you a pre-course grammar guide that they want you to study and go over. They also give you a refresher course on all the basics of grammar. All the verb tenses and all that stuff. And I realized there was a lot of it I had forgotten that I did not know. I'm probably using it correctly. But again, that's what I always say. There's a difference between knowing something and knowing how to teach something. And that's what I loved about their course. When I finally got to take it, I was really excited. And then when I told everybody at work, look, I'm taking this course to teach English, but I'm not moving to Thailand. I'm moving to a country called Cambodia. I don't think they knew how to take it, because sometimes I would say the stupidest things in the most serious manner just to mess with people. So they never knew what was going on, if I was trying to pull some kind of elaborate joke on them or not. That's kind of my fault for being a dick about it all those years. But eventually, when I would come in and the topics of conversation would not be what I watched on TV the night before, but here's what I learned in my TEFL course this week. Or look at my score. I would take pictures of my scores online and download them and show people from my phone. Look at, I got 97 out of 100. I'm very happy with that. For something I never knew before, for me that was pretty good. At one point I remember one of the people I worked with saying, and this was probably 3 or 4 weeks after I started my TEFL course, they were like, "You're really serious about this, aren't you?" I said, yes, I kept telling you. And then word started spreading because in a factory like that, it's like a small little town, man. Everybody knows everybody else's business. You can't really say anything to anybody in confidence there because it will get around. But then I just had people started coming up and asking me, are you moving out of the country? Like moving? I said, yes, moving, living, moving away, going. Why? They would ask. And I said, well, you work here too. You should know why. This is what you want to do until the day you die? But like I said, it's so common there that you find a good job like that and you keep it until you die or retire. And usually only making that much money, by the time you were able to retire, you would probably be better off dead. And is that really what you want to do all your life? I didn't. Like I said, the main thing for me was there was just the same repetitive thing over and over and over every single day. There was no hint of any kind of creativity. They didn't want it from you. They didn't need it from you. They didn't want you changing things. They didn't want your ideas. They didn't want to hear from you. They wanted you to show up, do your job like a robot, get your paycheck, which was way less than it should have been for the work you're doing, and then go home. That's all they wanted you to do. So I saw this as a way, it started getting my mind engaged more through my TEFL course, because I had to learn all these rules of English grammar that I didn't study very well in school. I realized I had to know them, because no matter how much I hated that job, I can tell you the reason I was there for 10 years, despite a very bad attitude and saying some things that probably would have got some other people fired, was that I was really, really good at my job. I've never slacked off on my job, no matter what job that was. So they knew I could produce the numbers, manufacturing numbers they wanted to on my machines. So I did. And 10 years there is a very long time, because we had a lot of turnaround. People just hated it there. So 10 years was a lot of seniority for a place like that. So I had some leeway in getting away with things sometimes. But of course, I determined to do the same thing with teaching. I don't want to go in there and half-ass it. I don't want to go in there and do the bare minimum, especially since I felt it was more important, and still do, more important than what I was doing previously, because this is going to involve other people in their lives and how they turn out, the things they learn. So I started saving money. Like I said, it was a while from when I first learned about TEFL to where I actually got to the point where I took my course. Because I kept thinking about how much money I would need. I kept getting estimates and adding things, subtracting things. But I started saving money and started a GoFundMe page asking people to help support my move, and people did. I remember getting my certificate for my course, and like I said, at that point, and I'll tell you when I get to my 1,000 subscriber special, but I was thinking about using that money at first for something else I've always wanted to do, getting that done. But then, as I'll explain in that 1,000 subscriber special, I just decided to take that money and use it to move here. So that's my story. I was just very dissatisfied with my job, with my life, and I needed something that would engage me, something that would challenge me, something that would not be the same old thing every single day. And that's what I found. I never regretted it. As soon as I got off the plane, I felt like I was at home here. Felt that way ever since. And I understand a lot of you are not going to finish this because it's already over a half hour long. But I said originally when I do this video, it's going to be long. It is. Because I wanted to be sure all my intentions and reasoning were very clear. So that's the story, and here I am. Ex-factory worker, plus a couple other jobs I'll tell you about later. Moved to Cambodia. Alright, I should end this one now. So I'm not exactly sure where we're going. I just wanted to go on a walk. But I think Sanglai wanted to go somewhere. Yeah. She ate something. Guess she didn't like it. Yeah. Over there?
Yeah,
oh. Okay, we're gonna go that way? Okay. But anyway. If you check all the links down below. If you want to buy my book, To Live in Cambodia, a guide for living in the Kingdom of Wonder. I wrote a book about how you can move here also, with all the information you need to make your transition much, much smoother. All that information at your fingertips, and you can get it at the link down below. If you want to donate, you help support me, you help support free education in Cambodia for the students I teach. That would be awesome. We're kind of really, I'm guessing because it's December, Christmas month, we're really missing a lot of regular donations. It might probably be our lowest month yet, and I don't want to have to kick anybody out of the class. I really don't. So if you're going to donate, get those in soon. The link's down below. Different websites are down below you might want to check out. You might enjoy those. And of course, all my social media is down below. So follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Send me a friend request on Facebook. That kind of thing. Alright. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.